The following podcast contains true stories of sex, kink, gender, or body image. Thanks for being a consenting adult, because here we go.
All of my life, I've never fit, but I won't complain and I won't quit. I am enormous, get used to it. Everyone tells me I'm too much. Maybe it's just you're not enough for me. Can't you see? I'm the kind of woman I'm supposed to be. Hey, my vagina is 8 miles wide. Absolutely everyone can come inside. If you're ever frightened, just run and hide. My vagina is 8 miles wide.
Hi there, and welcome to the Bawdy Storytelling Podcast. I'm sexual folklorist Dixie, and this week we have a story from writer and cultural sexologist Carol Queen. Hey, pervert, I have news, and I can't decide if I'm happy or in shock because this is something I've been working on for months and months and months, and it looks like it finally came together today. So, I've been trying to put together this tour, and I had pretty much given up last week. Too much time had been lost. And then today I had a conversation with a big, beautiful venue chain that I am so thrilled. I can't imagine doing what I love on those stages. So it looks like, contracts have not been signed yet, but it looks like Bawdy Storytelling is going to be coming to the following cities: Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Nashville, New York City, that one's going to be a really special show, and Atlanta. So if you want to write me privately, bawdystorytelling@gmail.com, I will not announce it on the podcast because it's not a done deal yet. But if you want to know because you want to save some dates, then I'm willing to do that for you. Tickets are not on sale yet, but very soon. And also, Baltimore, January 19th and 20th, is going to go on sale this week. So it's coming soon. Tell your friends, pitch me a story, because I can't do this without you. And if you have friends with interesting stories, tell them to pitch me a story too. Same email address, bawdystorytelling@gmail.com. I will tell you how to pitch me. It's not that hard. You don't have to be perfect. That's where I come in. But the sooner you pitch me, the sooner we can start working on this. So I feel like I'm getting way ahead of myself by even talking about it because it's not ready to be talked about yet. But a lot of people have been asking, and they want to know how they can see Bawdy on the East Coast. And this is it. Some of these cities I've never gone to before. Some of them I haven't done since 2017. So, yeah. It's happening, y'all. If you think you may be struggling with relationship OCD, there's hope. OCD is more than you see on TV and in the movies. Imagine having unwanted thoughts about your sexuality stuck in your head all day, and no matter how hard you try, you can't make them go away. Relationship OCD is often overlooked subtype of OCD that comes with unrelenting intrusive images, thoughts, and urges about your partner, loved one, or sexuality. NoCD offers effective, affordable, and convenient OCD therapy. NoCD therapists are trained in exposure response prevention therapy, the gold standard treatment for OCD. With NoCD, you can do virtual, live, face-to-face video sessions with one of their licensed, specially trained therapists. It's affordable, and they accept most major insurance plans. Breaking the OCD cycle takes effective treatment. To get started, go to nocd.com to book a free 15-minute call. That's nocd.com, and there's a link to them in the show notes. Here's something I'm really excited about. Bawdy Storytelling is coming to Baltimore on January 19th and 20th. This really great venue that invited us and made it super easy. I am such a fan of the Bluebird Baltimore, y'all. And it's a small venue for a bawdy, so tickets are going to sell really, really fast. If you want to know where the tickets are, they're on the newsletter. So make sure you subscribe. bodystorytelling.com/subscribe. And you can get on them tickets because Baltimore is the kickoff event for the tour. And this show is going to be so special. I have rock stars asking to be in this show. So sign up for the newsletter and get your tickets as soon as you can. I can't wait to see you there. They've told us we can just hang out afterwards and have cocktails and be social. And that sounds like the perfect way to kick off a tour to me. How about you? Are you ready for a story? Well, this one's a good one. Let me tell you about the storyteller. Carol Queen is an American author, editor, sociologist, and sexologist active in the sex-positive feminism movement. She's a 2-time Grand Marshal of the San Francisco LGBTQ Parade. She's written on human sexuality in books such as Real Live Nude Girl, Chronicles in Sex-Positive Culture. She's written a sex tutorial called Exhibitionism for the Shy, Show Off, Dress Up, and Talk Hot, as well as erotica like the novel The Leather Daddy and the Femme, which is one of my favorites. She's produced adult movies, events, workshops, lectures. She's featured as an instructor and star in both installments of Bend Over Boyfriend about female-to-male anal sex, also known as pegging. And she serves as staff sexologist at Good Vibrations, the infamous San Francisco sex toy retailer. I looked it up. She has been their staff sexologist for 34 years this month. Isn't that amazing? This storyteller is Carol Queen.
I know y'all in the back row probably cannot read my t-shirt. It says, Peg the Patriarchy. I know some of you folks are new. If you're not sure what pegging is, someone else here would be so happy to tell you. But also, I'm just going to do this. But also, you got to check out Bend Over Boyfriend. Because if you check out Bend Over Boyfriend, you will meet my partner, Robert, who is not here tonight, where we are teaching you how to fuck men up the ass with dildos. Although that's not what my story is about, it still is relevant in a certain way. And also gets you closer to your pegging dreams in case you have any, or will have some after you see the movie. So, Dixie, thank you for your story. Probably some of you people saw in the New York Times a week or so ago that story about how kids are watching porn for sex ed. Some of you people look young to me, and it's conceivable that that is also how you got all your information right up until now. I am glad to say, and by the way, if you did get your information like that right up till now, I would like you to go and read that story if you didn't already, because it will give you some nuance. But also, I would like to say congratulations for coming here to learn your sex education, because this is where it really starts to happen. And of course, many people come to San Francisco specifically so that they can be the sexual people that they are. Other people move here to get jobs. So if there are some of both in this room, that's actually awesome. I want to tell you the story of meeting Robert, but we have to back up a little bit to a sex education modality that I found myself in on purpose in the 1980s. Right, 3 of you remember those years. You remember. Those were some good and some bad years. The 1980s, San Francisco. I had come, like Yoni, to go to the Institute for Advanced Study of Human Sexuality and get my doctorate in sexology. And just as I got there, a thing was about to happen, to burst onto the San Francisco scene. The very first ever Jack and Jill off party. I saw a little flyer on the bulletin board at school where the only rules were, by the way, that you could not solicit for your tuition out in front of the building. Doing it anywhere else was okay, but don't bring too much attention to the building. And that instructors were not allowed to grade student papers in the hot tub. But that wasn't really a problem for very long, because after a while the hot tub broke and they never did get fixed. So, I know. I got in there though. Don't worry. I was in on the first wave of that sort of thing before it was ancient history. And this really is a history story for you too, because just in case you were wondering, why were the 80s good and bad? Well, I'll tell you why. In San Francisco and in many other places too, but you couldn't escape it in San Francisco, there was an HIV/AIDS epidemic blazing. And a whole lot of our people died. A whole lot of our friends didn't make it through. A lot of the rest of our friends got super scared about sex. And for a minute there, nobody knew exactly how you got it. It was pretty clear it was sexually transmitted, but exactly how took them a moment to figure out. Well, more than a moment, because did they give a shit? The they who do research? Only a few of them did. And so the sex people in San Francisco, what do you do under those circumstances? You say, I know, let's start a jack-off club. Actually, the guys who started the San Francisco Jacks say that they started it just to be a space for friendly social masturbation among people who identify as men, which made the women at the Institute for Advanced Study of Human Sexuality go, what are fucking we, chopped liver? We want to come and hide behind the drapes. I am not just throwing the drapes in because of our former discussion either. That's exactly what they said. They wanted to go to the jack-off party and hide and watch, which I think will probably bring us up to the point of agreeing, I would hope anyhow, that this bullshit about women not having any visual erotic interest is just that bullshit. Because they just wanted to stare. That was it. And I don't know, some of you are out there are gay men, and perhaps you're thinking, oh, that'd be cool. Or you could say what they did, and they said, or something like it. I wasn't in the room when the discussion happened, but I was there shortly thereafter when the women who got with the couple of guys in the Jacks who said, well, you can't come to our party, but we could throw a different party together. And that's what happened. That was how the Jack and Jill off came to be. So I was getting my doctorate in sexology. How on earth was I going to miss a thing like that? It was like a lab. And I had been in a couple of threesomes, several threesomes already. So I felt like, I had my foot in the door, at least in that respect. And so what I did was I went to the party and I stood outside on the sidewalk and I walked up and down a little bit and I walked around the corner and I stood there and I was like, if I don't go into this fucking party, I'm going to kick my ass for the rest of my life. I don't care how scared I am. I can go in there. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. By the way, if later tonight you get invited to your first sex party, because some of you are newcomers, yay. Remember, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. That's a good way to make yourself feel more centered. Also, if you just fuck like one other human being, that wouldn't be a bad sort of ground rule to lay there either. I'm just saying. It's just a thought. Since lately people are wanting everyone to make some rules and explain all the rules, that would be a good start. So I go in and I find that I'm in this warehouse that's mostly occupied by gay men. Most of the gay men in San Francisco have one or the other kind of party there. There's the trough. Can you guess what that is? I am the only female who is like a charter member, but not really, of the trough, because they never let me go, really. But they gave me a T-shirt, and they were like, Carol, you can have our trough T-shirt. I was like, aw. I like piss play, too. I just can't do it with you. Okay. But that was later. This time, I'm walking up a large flight of stairs, wooden stairs, I'm walking around a balcony where you can look down, and the people who are downstairs by the food table, because at sex parties, food tables are very important because that's where the shy people congregate and wait to get the nerve to walk away from there and go up the stairs or wherever you're going. So from the food table, you can look up and you can see people leaning on the railing up there doing the things, and from up there, you could look down at the food table and go, that shy person looks almost ready to come up. Maybe I'll just wander downstairs and say hi. And all of the things that you do to be convivial together, to be social in your masturbation. Because remember, this is a Jack and Jill off party. This is not a fuck party. It is a sex party because masturbation is sex. If they told you in your, Mormon Sunday school that it wasn't sex, that would be incorrect. That was incorrect information. It is a sexual act. Whether you're by yourself or with your 60 closest new friends. And there was also here are the rules. Jack and Jill, ask before you touch. Don't do anything that nobody doesn't want you to do. Communicate and be convivial with one another, please, at all times. Wash your hands between doing things, and put condoms on it if it's going to go anywhere, and no condoms go in orifices. But sex toys could go into orifices if you want. Fingers probably could. There were some, generally we want people who are scared of intercourse type, vaginal, anal, or whatever you got, to be able to go back to sexual space with less fear. Also, it'd be awesome to stand behind the drapes and watch the guys jack off. So let's just have a thing so we can maybe see some of that too. So I did want to see some of that, as a matter of fact. I'd been a little afraid of men, but not so afraid of men that I didn't want to watch them jack off. And I was starting to get friendly with them again, quite a bit. Friendlier than I had been when I was Dyke-Identified and living in Eugene, Oregon, where you pretty much had to be Dyke-Identified if you're of a certain age. And I was bi the whole time, but could I get a girlfriend to save my life? Well, no, but that's a story for another night. And so I was exploring this strange male of the species, and there they all were, and so there was a point at which I found myself, in these sex party stories, you always go, I found myself on a sofa, straddling the knee of this swinger woman who had the dirtiest mouth I have ever heard on her. Where did she go? I don't know, but she was a consummately fucking filthy, dirty talker, and she was exhorting me to masturbate, which I was doing, of course. Part of the reason I was there was to masturbate, but another part that I was just discovering right then was that I wanted this woman to be whispering in my ear that I should stick 2 or 3 fingers up my cunt while I was masturbating and make sure that I used both hands. Don't worry, she'd hold me up so I wouldn't fall off the sofa. What'd I tell you? Convivial. If you feel that you do not live in a friendly enough world, and many of us do feel that way these days, don't we? I mean, there are ways to deal with that, but everybody's got to want to do the stuff before you start to do it. So there I am on the lap of the woman, her boyfriend, or maybe he's kind of her submissive. I was a little naive at that point. I wasn't totally sure what was going on, but he was doing some sexy things to her while this was happening. I think there were nipples involved, maybe a little pulling, not sure. And 2 or 3 other people sitting on the sofa with us, kind of exhorting me as well. And did anybody ever tell you to masturbate more when you were a young person? Mostly we got told to masturbate less. So I found that it was very healing. Also, what's going on at the same time is 5 guys make a semicircle around us. So here's our sofa, and there's the semicircle of guys, and they're all jerking off. And I get to keep my eyes open and stare at them while one after the other, they pop off, and this woman is saying dirty shit in my ear, and I come to, of course, because there's a thing in sexology where if one person comes, sometimes there'll be like this contagion, and in a room full of people, it's more likely even to happen than if there's only 2 people in the room. Sometimes the energy doesn't get high enough under those circumstances, although sometimes it certainly does. And so I didn't come just once, I came 4 times. And I would not brag about that, except that I had been a singly orgasmic person up until that time. I learned, and I will share with you now, just in case you want a little extra sex ed, that sometimes upping the degree of erotic experience in the room, the energy, the different kinds of sensation, ups arousal and makes it more likely for one to have an orgasm. It really works. I was very pleased about it. So naturally, I became part right away of the core crew of people putting on Jack and Jill offs. I was like, anything that can make me multi-orgasmic, I think I'd better do some more of. Who knows what's going to happen next time? So next time, the people at JJO headquarters, which, God, I'm sorry I don't have quite enough time to tell you all about them because they were a hoot. Seriously, a hoot. Someday I'll come back and tell you all the deets. The next one, they were like, let's do a theme party. Let's do a circus Jack and Jill off and encourage everyone to wear circus costumes and we'll play circus music. And right before I am all the way up a ladder, changing a light bulb in my little skirt, and little short high heels are pretty good for climbing ladders with. I don't know if you knew that. I was up there. There was this gay guy down at the bottom holding onto the ladder. And Robert, still my Robert, after these many years, we're getting close to 30, 29 years now, I think. My Robert is there, and he and I have been flirting with each other ever since he got there to help out. I've met him one time before very briefly, but there we are. And he decides that the right way to my heart would be to tell me a dirty limerick. I will share it with you now because I committed it to memory, of course. Some of you have other, like, meet cute stories, but this is mine. A truck driving lessee named Spike hauled dildos at night down the pike. When asked by the fuzz what it was that she does, she said, "I'm a fake Dick Van Dyke." It's possible that some of you are more the haiku type. He was just writing haiku this morning, in fact, but learn a couple of poems, all y'all, to, when it comes time to seduce someone. Learn the poem from the base of the Statue of Liberty. Give me, you're tired, you're poor. People will just melt for that, especially in San Francisco. So, to conclude my story of meeting cute and falling in love with my Robert, who was wearing a red Ringmaster's tailcoat and a silk top hat. You said they couldn't masturbate in here, right? Because if you're anything like me, that just makes you want to put your hand between your legs right now. I don't know. Maybe you're not like me. It's okay. Takes all kinds. And so we went upstairs and we started to make out, and I mean making out, and he sets his top hat on a little side table next to the sofa where we were clutching and grabbing. There was some hand on cock, there were some fingers in pussy. Remember, we just weren't having intercourse, but there are a fair number of things that you can do up till that point, and if you do them properly, you won't even miss having any intercourse. So we were doing all those things, and you're grabbing each other's hair and kissing, and at one point, he pulls away from me, slightly regretfully, I could tell, and looks over at the hat, right up above the hat, and I hear him say, "Please, sir, don't come in my hat. It's rented." And our friend Bill was over there jerking off like crazy, watching us make out, which is very flattering. Like, try to be the person that makes out so well that when your friends come over to your house, what they would really rather do than anything else is just sit and jerk off while you make out in front of them. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do this in real life. You might not want to, of course, and your friends might be all, just like those guys at the jack-off party, but try to make out like that were possible.
Thank you very much. Curling his lip, wiggling his hip. He had the look from Circus 72. With a big old package pushing through, it was a little distracting. It's huge, baby, it's huge. Jumpsuit medallion, hung like a stallion. He sold a lot of dick on the side. Assuring all would have a good time, but never pulling on heartstrings. Don't be cruel, baby, don't be cruel. His most common consumers were lady baby boomers who hung around his dressing room door, sliding keys on the casino floor while their husbands worked on their golf swings. When his job was done, had to escape, but on the way out the door, he wiped his dick on the drapes. He wiped his dick on the drapes. Thank you very much. Long dong Sally never took a tally of how many she had bedded down. She had clients all over town, they all knew her game. She was the meanest with a plastic purple penis they lovingly referred to as Prince. Strapped down, she could make a man wince, hence her name. Her name's Long Dong Sally, baby, pay attention. By day she coded in a cubicle eroded by the confines of 9 to 5. Clocking out she would come alive to cash in on her prizes. She had diamonds and pearls and her pubic hair curls. Men and women both young and old all said her services were better than gold. She was full of surprises. When her job was done, she had to escape, so on the way out the door, she wiped her dick on the drapes. She wiped her dick on the drapes. Why waste your time with amateurs? Oh no, it's no fun. Professionals need professionals. If you really want to get the job done, do you really want to get the job done? Sally and Bobby, they meet down in the lobby for their standing date at Mandalay Bay. To leave behind their DNA on the walls and on the ceilings. Ugh. Kind of vanilla, but she liked to be Priscilla. Bobby could both give and take. Swinging cock and single jailhouse rock, she was soaking and squealing. Now when she moves her pelvis, Prince is penetrating Elvis. Oh, since my baby pegged me, come on, Prince. She slapped on his ass, pulled on his cape, and on the way out the door, they wiped their dicks on the drapes. They wiped their dicks on the drain. Wipe your dick 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 on the
That song was Wipe Your Dick on the Drapes, Part 1, identified only by its initials out there on the internet, by Bawdy's very own Jefferson Berge. Have I told you lately how much I love Patreon? It is astounding to me that as an artist, people can show me their support and make sure I'm still here. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Patreon. Right now, there's a special offer. If you support Bawdy at the $25 a month level or up, you can get access to 40 hours of Bawdy storytelling live shows. 16 full shows. And it's all on video. I'm calling it my all-you-can-eat offer. So go to patreon.com/Bawdy, sign up at the $25 a month level or greater, and you are going to have access right now to so much Bawdy, you going to be sick of me. Well, that's our time for this week. Before you go, can I ask you to write me a review? I love it when you write me a review. Subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. It makes a huge difference. And maybe I'll get to thank you in person sometime soon. While I'm saying thank you for that, I want to say thank you to the people who make this podcast possible. Thank you to Mosa Maxwell Smith, to Donald Mooney, David Grossoff, Royland James, and podcast producer Roman Den Houdeker. I'm sexual folklorist Dixie Delatour. This has been episode 281 of the Bawdy Storytelling Podcast. Thanks for listening.
A big love.